Hey, I'm sorry. Ann Silver, I've called the meeting to order. I'm going to start the meeting by just referring to the orderly conduct of business. The Board of Trustees conducts the business of the Washoe County Library System and its citizens during its meetings. The orderly, efficient conduct of the meeting is integral and necessary to allow the board to conduct business. The chair or the presiding officer may order the removal of any person whose statements or other conduct disrupts the orderly, efficient, or safe conduct of the meeting. Warnings against disruptive comments or behavior may or may not be given prior to removal. Examples of disruptive conduct include, without limitation, yelling, stamping of feet, whistles, applause, heckling, name-calling, use of profanity, threatening use of physical force, or any other acts intended to impede the meeting or infringe on the rights of the Library Board of Trustees, its staff, or meeting participants. The viewpoint of a speaker will not be restricted, but reasonable restrictions may be imposed upon the time, place, and manner of speech. Irrelevant and unduly repetitious statements and personal attacks which antagonize or incite others are examples of speech that may be reasonably limited. We will begin this evening's meeting with a salute to the flag, which is right over here. And Marie Rodriguez, if I could ask you to begin the pledge for us. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Let me call the roll of trustees. If you could announce that you're present, starting with Marie.
Trustee Rodriguez present.
Trustee Jaggs present.
Trustee Ruff present.
Chair Silver present. We are missing Leah Mosier this evening.
Absence.
All right. Item number 2, land acknowledgement. This is a non-action item. Is there anyone from the library staff who's presenting this? Or should I just read it aloud? I will read it aloud. We begin by acknowledging that we gather today on the ancestral homelands of the Washoe, Numu, Niue, Nuwu, and Pipa'a, the original caretakers of the land that we now call Nevada. Washoe County, formerly named after the Washoe people in 1861, continues to be a gathering place and home for indigenous peoples, and we recognize their rich history and deep connections to these lands. May we honor their past, present, and future stewardship by remembering that the health of the land and its people are inextricably linked. We will now move to item number 3, public comment. I'll remind everyone there is a 3-minute time limit per person. Thank you so much. And we will call people in order of signing in. We will start with Sandy Tibbet.
Good evening, trustees. Sandy Tibbet for the record. So I want to express my appreciation for the positive direction our library system is taking under the leadership of the current board, and with Mr. Solero's guidance. I was able to watch Mr. Solero's presentation yesterday to the commissioners, and I found it extremely helpful because it was really muddy before that. It clarified several questions I had and reinforced my confidence in our path forward. I believe this marks the first time in many years that a library board has had meaningful oversight of the budget process, which I am extremely grateful. This board is establishing a strong foundational framework that will benefit future boards for years to come. Thank you. I also fully recognize that the commissioners hold the final authority on the fiscal year 2027 budget, and I particularly appreciate Commissioner Andriola's clear and equitable statement that the library's requested amount, like those of other departments, may be adjusted as needed. I believe a comprehensive review of our library's budget and operational processes across all of our locations would be valuable. Such an analysis could identify opportunities to enhance efficiency, adopt the best practices, and potentially redirect savings towards strengthening our collection and programming. And so I fully support Commissioner Clark's recommendation to engage in an independent third-party auditor. An objective external review would provide the transparency our community deserves and help rebuild the public trust that's been eroded in recent years. So I respectfully request the new director, when we get one, and the Board of Trustees prioritize commissioning an independent third-party audit of our library systems budget and the operations. I am genuinely hopeful and excited about the next chapter of our library system as we welcome a new director. After the challenges and divisions of recent years, this transition represents a vital opportunity to heal, rebuild trust, and move forward together as a stronger, more unified community. Someone who listens, my tic-tac just went the back of my throat, sorry. Someone who listens thoughtfully to patrons, staff, and stakeholders alike, and who values diverse perspectives rather than advancing any personal or hidden agenda. Very important. Above all, I pray we hire a director we can trust, someone whose integrity and openness will guide us toward a thriving, inclusive library system that truly serves and reflects the needs of our entire community we cherish and love. So thank you. Thank you for your service.
Debbie Steers.
Hello, Debbie Steers, Collection Development Manager for the record. We have an agenda item under new business that will be selecting the funding level for materials. That's part of this annual minimum public library standards form that's required to be filled out. It's the only item that the board has to take action on. I did just want to alert you, there are two items that we're not able to be in compliance with for this year. One is our strategic plan sunsets at the end of December. The other is having a director with an MLS, a Master of Library Science or Master of Library and Information Science. So because we aren't able to meet those, we're required to fill out a waiver form that asks how we will remedy that. So part of that remedy is just notifying you and County Human Resources of that requirement that there is a master's degree in library or library and information sciences required. So just for information, we can check off that box that you now have been notified. Just wanted to put that into the public record. Thank you.
Thank you. Janet Butcher.
Janet Butcher for the record. Thank you to all of those involved in this undaunting task of creating the budget. Years of rogue, unrestrained budget led you here, and you have taken up the duty with effort, especially as unpaid volunteers. I think people forget that. I heard several comments that you should not have to get into the weeds. Unfortunately, you needed to get in. Again, thank you for those who attempted to. And hopefully, can someone from the board remind us during the trustee comments why the materials expenditure was not part of the recommendation that was requested to be presented to the county commissioners on November 18th? The budget totaled $17,674,078. Does this mean that the term expansion fund will be retired and it all becomes the general fund? Hopefully we can clarify that. And then the question, since this amount does not include the book procurement amount that will be discussed this evening, being referred to as the materials expenditure, will this always be a separate budget item and not part of the general fund? And it was exciting to see that Donations provided to the library totaled just shy of $750,000. Very generous of estate Judith Bark. Again, I will put out a challenge to those individuals and political entities that have denounced the outcome of the people's vote to please step forward and put a passion into fundraisers for the library. Money donated out of want is so much nicer than money forced from the government. I bet a lot could be raised from the ground initiative. Thank you.
Thank you. Cliff Nellis.
Hello, ladies and the one gentleman. I want to save the libraries. I think it's really nice to read a book without microwave radiation hitting you in the face. And so that's why I'm talking to you about the importance of the new director that you pick. And Mr. Scott, he picked librarians that were of his political and moral and lifestyle persuasion. So they represent part of the community, yes, but a very small part. We need a librarian that can balance things out so that all of the community is represented and actually feels this is a safe place to bring their children. If they feel they're going to be recruited into some form of lifestyle that is antithetic to their moral and religious beliefs, then they won't bring their children here. And I believe that is part of the reason you don't see very many Hispanic people coming here. And so if you pick a director that can represent all parts of the community and that is not of that same persuasion as Mr. Scott, then I think there may be an opportunity for that to happen. And I also recommend that they not be go to an ALA school, because if they have, then they're not going to be that kind of person. So, and so also on the budget thing, I believe that you guys can maybe lay off some employees and meet the budget, because that's what the people asked. The people wanted, that's what they want. They wanted you to keep that budget level. And it's because everybody's hurting for money now. And we're being taxed, the gas tax is 57 cents a gallon for Washoe County now. And that's almost $12 every time you gas up your tank. And there's a lot of taxes that just keep going up. Inflation goes up. People want you guys to meet the budget. And the final thing is the land acknowledgement thing, which it's a nice little statement. But I know the implication behind it. It's that the white people or the Europeans stole the land from the Indians. Well, that did not happen, because the Indians didn't say they owned the land. First of all, they, give you a little information. They were stealing it from each other way before we came. There was a white-skinned, red-headed tribe named the Paiutes, called the Seediqua, and they were genocided out by the Paiutes in order to steal the land from them. So, thank you.
Thank you. Yes. You just sign in your name, Willie?
I didn't. Should I? Do you want?
I'll put your name down if that's all right.
Happy holidays, board. I would just like to add to the spirit of accountability and openness and transparency that was mentioned earlier. I think that the board itself should be open to having an analysis or I think the public should be able to look at the performance of the board, because I think there are, to say it politely, different of opinions on how this board has acted in the last couple of years. And I think it would give the commissioners an indication on the direction of the board. So that's my comment.
Seeing no other signers for public comment, We will have another public comment section at the end of this meeting. We will move to item number 4, board comment. This is a non-action item. It is limited to announcements, strategic planning activity, updates, or issues proposed for future agendas and or workshops. I'm open to any comments from my colleagues.
My notes. Thank you, Madam Chair. For the record, Trustee Jacks, I just wanted to see, Madam Chair, as a matter of logistics on the agenda. I know we've talked about it before, but the bylaws are not being updated. And the location of the meetings, for instance, I've had some people to let me know that they in fact thought they were going to one location. Obviously, these are printed a while ago, but I didn't really recall seeing any notice of change of locations of what we already approved and is written down as far as, you know, our meeting location schedules. So just wanted to reach out about that agenda item for the bylaws, and then the rest will come up later under our votes. Thank you, Madam Chair. That was all.
Thank you. Any other comments from the trustees? Hearing none at this time, I will move to item number 5, approval of the minutes. This is approval of minutes from the library board meeting held on October 15th, 2025. This is for possible action, which would include a motion to approve or not approve or any corrections. And I believe you need to take action to approve or not. Has everybody had a chance to read through the minutes? Yes, please.
Trustee Jacks, for the record, also part of the logistics portion of it was getting these minutes just yesterday. I know we've had some emails between the staff about posting the minutes. For me, it takes quite some time to go through the minutes to reconcile the notes and to put it against the videos and stuff like that, just as, you know, after the meetings. So it's really hard to reconcile all that with the timelines we were given. And just for that reason, I'll be voting no on that, just as a matter of record for other things I'm having problems with on past edits. But just regardless of that, I just didn't have enough time to read them properly to compare. So I didn't see any blazing problems off the bat. Thank you, Madam Chair. That was all.
I will just add to your comment. I saw no deficiencies in the minutes. I'm just always wondering why we get them right before the meeting. And if there's any way, and I know how much work is involved in putting these minutes together and going through them to reflect the accuracy of comments and the timing of comments. I'm very busy and I didn't have a chance to go through these the way I like to. So anything we can do to get maybe them 2 days ahead of the board meeting would be very much appreciated. It's not a requirement, just a request. Yeah. Any other comments? All right, hearing none, we will move on to item number 6, general business.
Are we
I'm
not going to
sorry, a
approve them
motion-
then?
I'm sorry. I need a motion for approval of the minutes from the library board meeting of October 15th, 2025. Those in favor, please say aye.
No, we need a
Do
motion
you want
and a
to
second.
write the
I'm sorry,
motion or
second.
say the motion?
Sorry. There's a motion and we need a second. So would someone? like
Trustee
to move-
Rodriguez, I will second.
Thank you. And is there a second?
That was the second.
That was the second. Who was the first?
You made the motion.
I made the motion, you know, it's all in a day's work. Okay. All right, the minutes have been approved, noting the objection.
We now need to vote.
Now we. All right, let's have a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
No.
Noting
you.
trustee Jack's objection. The motion carries. We will move on to item number 6, general business. 6A is the acknowledgement of the first quarter fiscal year 2026 cash and non-cash donations received by Washoe County Library between July 1st and September 30th of this year for a combined total of $3,076 $376,951.40. This is for possible action. So I need a motion to acknowledge this, the cash and non-cash donations received by the library. Is there a motion? I'm sorry, I didn't even look up.
I snuck up.
Okay,
For the record, Jamie Hemingway, I'm the Public Information and Development Officer for Washoe County Library, and I have written the staff report for our next two financial reports. These reflect some donations that we received for our gift funds. The first report, we want to acknowledge all of the cash donations received in the first quarter of this fiscal year. So we did receive that total. I know that's a lot of numbers, $376,951.40. Don't forget the 40 cents. And that there is you'll see, I have my staff report, and then there is a list there that lists each of the donors and what those donations were designated for. And then following that, you'll see a list of all of our gift funds within the library system. So that's just an accounting of where we were in July during the start of that first quarter, and then where we ended up in September at the ending of that first quarter. So you'll see that there has been an impact there, and the $376,951.40 has been added and put into the appropriate designated gift funds. So we do have a possible motion there for you.
would someone like to make the motion to acknowledge the total of $369,653 from, and this is from Judith Bark, and for a combined total, considering all the others, other listed cash donations, for a total of $376,951.40.
Trustee Rodriguez, for the record, I would like to motion that the Library Board of Trustees agree with this recommendation and move to acknowledge the first quarter fiscal year 2025-2026 cash and non-cash donations received by the Washoe County Library between July 1st and September 30th of 2025 for a combined total of $376,951.40.
Thank you. I'll second that. Those in favor of this acknowledgement, please say aye.
Aye.
Those not in favor? Hearing none, that's a unanimous acknowledgement, and we are very eager. And Jamie, I'm sorry, I didn't see your name on the agenda, so I apologize and I didn't look up. Thank you for this report. Appreciate it very much. And I assume we're
Is there
going
another
out of
one?
our way to thank the Judith Bark estate donation.
Yes, correct. So the next up in that, a reason why those gift funds increased so much is thanks to the estate of Judith Bark. So I did receive a call in August from Heritage Bank that Judith Bark had unfortunately passed away, but she generously decided to bequeath her estate to us. So we did get $369,653 and designated for use by the Downtown Reno Library. And it does state there in the report that monies in the gift fund may be used for the construction of new library buildings, capital improvement to existing buildings, special library services or programs, staff development and training, collection development, equipment and furniture, and other identified library purposes. So you'll see there that when these funds do go into the gift funds for specific libraries, those libraries tend to use them to improve their spaces.
Do I understand correctly that Ms. Bark specified the donation for the Downtown Reno Library?
Yes, that's correct.
The other monies listed in your report may be used across the library system?
Yes, we do abide by what the donors have designated the funds for. So we do use them when they express a desire for those funds. We do follow that. Yes, so depending on, in my previous report, you'll see where those funds were designated.
I actually don't see tremendous specificity as to locations, but I'm assuming the South Valley Library Bridge Group is for the South Valley Library?
Yes, you might see the branch initials there. Those are just little codes that we use internally. So SS is Spanish Springs, RN is Downtown Reno, SO is South Valleys, SV, Sierra View, Northwest, Northwest Reno, and Tech Services downtown, and IV is Incline Village. So we use those codes internally as a way of designating our locations and departments.
Well, thank you. That's pretty exciting news.
Yes, very generous donations this quarter.
Very generous donations.
And I do have a possible motion there on the staff report for you.
Are you talking about the acknowledgement?
Yes, the acknowledgement of the Judith Bark donation.
Do I have a motion for those donations as specifically marked and designated for the library's library locations as noted in Jamie's report?
Madam Chair, Trustee Ruff, for the record, I move that we acknowledge the donations from the Judith Bark estate for the Downtown Reno Library.
Trustee
And
Rodriguez,
others.
I'll second.
Let's take a vote. We have acknowledged, up for vote is the acknowledgement of the donation for the Downtown Reno Library by the estate of Judith Bark, and the additional first quarter fiscal year cash and non-cash donations received between July 1st and September 30th for a combined total between the Judith Bark donation and the others for $376,951.40. All those in favor, say aye. We just did
Madam-
that. I'm sorry.
Madam Chair, for clarification, the way you just phrased that was pretty much the last motion that we passed. This one for possible motion is the acknowledgement of the 369,653 donation for the downtown library by the state of Judith Bark. So it's more specific to that amount.
I appreciate that clarification. We have to first motion to approve item 6A, acknowledgement of the first quarter fiscal year 2025.
We already did that one.
Then we've done the second one.
Okay.
You motioned, and I believe.
My motion was for just the second one, for
just the
B.
Second one, and I thought.
We
That
already
was
did,
mine, that
we
was
already
my
did A
second.
Second.
on the B. Yes, on
Right.
B.
Those in favor of item 6B, which is acknowledging the estate of Judith Bark's donation to Downtown Reno Library. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. So terrific. It's wonderful.
Thank you very
wonderful,
much.
Wonderful people. Thank you very much. Item number C, review and approve adjusted library schedule for Duncan Trainer and Verdi Partnership Libraries. Closed when the Washoe County School District is not in session for school breaks. This is also for possible action. And Mr. Solero, you're on.
Good evening, trustees. For the record, Dave Solero, Assistant County Manager. Now, you do not have a staff report on this one. I would just want to talk through this one. Seems fairly easy in my mind. One of the items that the librarians have determined or have found is that when the Washoe County School District is in session but on break, so not during the summertime, but during the regular school year, the Duncan Trainer and Verdi Partnership Libraries essentially have usage of nearly zero when the schools are on break, because the students are not generally in the school. They usually come after school to go to those libraries. And so in trying to work through upcoming breaks that are happening in some of the shorter staffed areas while we continue to hire those positions that I'd requested were not filled until we got the budget taken care of, staff has requested, since the board sets the days and times and hours of the libraries, to go ahead and allow during the period of November 26th, the weeks of December 22nd and 29th of 2025, and then the weeks of March 23rd and 30th of 2026 to close those partnership libraries just while the school district is on break. So just the hours that would normally be open during those weeks, we're requesting that we go ahead and allow those libraries to be closed so that staff can be filled in at other locations to assist in some of the shortages that we've got.
I was about to ask you, so they would not be without pay, they'd be reassigned or redeployed elsewhere. But when the 20 positions are presumably filled pursuant to the passage of the budget or acknowledgement of the budget, what would happen to those library employees in Verdi?
So you'll recall that the library employees for Verdi actually their home branch is North Valley's. and then Duncan Trainer is the Sparks Library.
Right.
So they will be working during that time. They simply will not be going to those library branches just during those shorter hours to assist. They will still be working their full shift and doing all that. So once we're fully staffed, we will still have the ability. Again, this is really just during these breaks for the upcoming
And the
breaks.
summer?
Summer will, we have the current operating schedule. This does not include the summertime. So
Okay,
they will
so-
still remain open. I actually, in my staff comments here a little bit later, I'll be talking through discussion around library hours and those sorts of things that we've just an upcoming item that I'd like to tease.
Thank you. But just to recall, a number of Verdi residents who were very sincere about their thoughts on the use of the Verdi Library. I feel like an assumption is being made that when kids aren't in school, no one needs to go or wants to go to the library.
So I would suggest that we're utilizing the data that we've had during past breaks, and it's really only the periods during the breaks themselves.
I understand.
So
Katrina. I just don't understand. Verdi.
Same issue at Verdi, and we're utilizing the data of the usage. In the summer, it's a different, the kids are out, they're doing things, the parents are taking them to the library. But this seems to be specific to the times that the Washoe County School District is in general session, but on break.
So just breaks.
Yep.
Okay.
If I may ask, just for clarification, we're talking about Thanksgiving break and Christmas break and spring break when people don't tend to go to the libraries, they tend to do family functions. And that's why we have the lower attendance at the library. Is that correct?
That certainly could be part of the reason why we have the lower attendance.
There's an October break as well. Is that included?
We've already passed that. And so,
Right.
yeah, so this is just really this kind of upcoming season, because we will have a full discussion around library hours of operation for this board in the coming months.
So this item 6C, Mr. Solero, is for possible action. So I would need a motion that this board approves the adjusted library schedule for Duncan Trainer and Verdi Partnership Libraries to be closed when the Washoe County School District is not in session for school breaks. School breaks only, not inclusive of the summer. Do I have a motion to approve?
Madam Chair, Trustee Ruff, I move that we approve the adjusted library schedule for Duncan Trainer and Verde Partnership Libraries to close when the Washoe County School District is not in session for school breaks.
Do I have a second?
Trustee Rodriguez, I'll second that.
Discussion?
Madam Chair, I have a brief comment before we take the vote. Mr. Solaro, the dates that you're giving us, is that information different from last year? These dates, is this the first time for these?
This
Thanks.
is the first request for this. I took those dates directly off the Washoe County School District website for
Okay, this is the
the
first time.
breaks.
Okay, we've
Yep.
done this. Okay, thank you. That was all.
All right, we have a motion from trustee Ruff, seconded by trustee Rodriguez to approve item number 6C. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any in opposition? Item 6C passes unanimously. Thank you, Mr. Solero. Item 6D, select an option for meeting the materials expenditure standard pursuant to the minimum public library standards as set forth by the Nevada State Library Archives and Public Records. This is for possible action. Steers, we'll hear from you.
Thank you. For the record, Debbie Steers, Collection Development Manager. You've got a staff report with lots of information. I'll point you to the key components. This is an annual requirement by the state library to ensure that libraries are meeting the standards, the minimum standards set forth by them. For materials funding, they give us 3 different options of how we can meet that standard. Option 1 would be looking at the historical average spending and ensuring that we are meeting at least 90% of the last 5 years of average. If you look on page 3, there's a table that shows the last 10 years. So for this year, we would need to fund materials at a $1.1 million level to meet that standard. Option 2 that the state library sets out is to meet 30% of the total services and supplies budget for the library. The minimum amount for this year would be $714,385. And option 3 would be as a percentage of the total operating budget. This is an item we've discussed. It gives the history. Previous boards have wanted to meet this. This board has taken the most aggressive step in that, in making the recommendation that in the next budget cycle, we make the ask of the county commission to fund at this level of 10% of the overall budget. That would be $1.62 million for this year. If you look at that table, our current budget allocated this year for materials is $764,000. And so of the 3 options, we are only able to meet that option number 2, which would be the 30% of services and supplies.
Just looking at the minutes, thank you.
Mhm.
Before we move forward, I just want to, I thought we had approved a percentage.
Yes, so
In
in
the
the, on page 2 of the staff report, I do show that October 14th, this board reaffirmed that 10% minimum standard is the desired policy target and directed staff to request an above board request, but that would be for the next fiscal year.
Not 27.
That's 27. So
This.
this requirement is this current fiscal year.
Okay.
How are we meeting the standard? And with only $764,000 budgeted for materials, it leaves us with just one option.
Any questions or comments from board members? Well, it's.
For the record, trustee Jacks. Hi Debbie, are we adjusting this, what we've already approved for 25, 26? No,
I mean, what,
last year, so we do this every year, didn't we
We-
do that? Okay,
we visit this every year.
so did we already approve last year for 25, 26?
So last year for 24, 25, you approved, and I don't have the action that we took last year, but last year's budget was $1.4 million. And so I believe the more aggressive was option 1, that we hit that 90% mark.
Right.
This year, what is budgeted for materials for the library has fallen to 764,000. So we're not able to meet that higher threshold.
Okay.
It represents 32% of the services and supplies, which does slightly exceed that 30% required.
And maybe this is a question for Mr. Solero, but in terms of the budget that was presented to the county commissioners, it did not include this.
You're correct. So the board took
funny.
action to made the request that $1.3 million be held in abeyance without directing where that money would come from. Then that pushed it to the budget office to make, and this year's budget is unique with the expansion fund and trying to make us whole. The budget office identified, oh, here's a $1.3 million, we can take that from materials. And so that left us with about $65,000 that was listed in the original line item for the, quite distressing to me, I'll say. But in working with the folks in the budget office, identifying that there was, I'm trying to think of the undesignated. There was an undesignated fund that had 700 and some $1,000. So as the budget office said, okay, we're taking what used to be the expansion fund, adding some to make it whole. The $1.3 million that you moved to hold in abeyance isn't listed both as part of that $16.9 million overall budget. So that lives outside of that. So we took what was undesignated and I said, well, can we start there so that we can start spending, and working with Mr. Solaro to identify this would be, half of what our budget traditionally has been. How do we make that ask of this board to release those funds and move the county. It is all new territory. So, you know, I am not shy about asking for money for books. So this won't be the last that you hear from me.
Just the timing. Go ahead. Go ahead,
Yeah,
trustee.
and just for clarifications, this is for the 25-26 budget.
This is this
It's not
current
the
year.
26-27 budget that we were working on before. And this is actually just for the library standards compliance method for this year.
Correct.
Okay, so it's not the budget that we spent several months working on.
No, this is
I
just
know.
reporting back to
Okay.
the state. We recognize the importance of having a budget for
Okay.
materials. Here's
Mhm.
what our budget is, and are we in compliance?
Okay.
So we are able to meet that minimum level of compliance.
And that's it. It's strictly for the collection.
Yes.
Right, okay.
And just to clarify with Mr. Solera, when you spoke to us at the last meeting prior to presentation of county commissioners, you indicated the book budget would be a separate item. This, however, is in relation to the current budget, not prospectively for the following fiscal year.
That is correct.
Okay, all right. So you are looking, Steers, for a motion to select option 2, which is 30% of the services and supplies budget as Washoe County Library System minimum public library standards compliance method for fiscal year 25-26, based on the current budget and the funds available at the start of the fiscal year.
Precisely.
And the start of which fiscal year?
So that is for this current year.
Okay.
Next year, we'll be back
July.
with the 26-27 budget,
July
and
1. So I'd feel more comfortable if it said the. I just for clarification for my own notes, July 1, 2025. Okay, but yes, all right. So there is, I will make the motion that we select option number 2, which represents 30% of the services and supplies budget as Washoe County Library System's minimum public library standards compliance method for fiscal year 2025-2026, based on the current budget and the funds available at the start of the fiscal year, which was July 1, 2025. Do I have any comments or a second on that?
Trustee Ruff, for the record, second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Well, I assume there is no one who said no. Anyone who rejects this option now passes unanimously. Thank you, Ms. Sears.
I vote.
All right,
Chair Silver,
yes.
I am gonna go run and check on my car because that tire squealing sounded like it hit something. I'll be right back.
You need help or security? Okay, let's take a 3-minute recess. Okay. Does anybody need quarters or anything? Yes. Yes. Oh, right. Sure. Great. Sorry. So, is that it? Yeah. Yeah, last time. Thank you. Thank you. I never turn it on and I always forget to turn it on.
Have a little bit. I drink this really fast. So we can. Yeah, and in fact, we're going through this with the board. I have to figure out. Here, just one of them. It's just adding to your. Right, so that's the problem with the board. We want to push this. Clerk wants her to be. We can figure out split it to the part. Oh, okay, okay, yeah. So, yeah, because the minutes were done. No, yeah, go. They were totally done, ready. She was just waiting for everything to put it in. Less confusing. It's just, since we're just using the lane. Yeah. Yes, just got.
Yeah, three cars, but they were cars that were moving to the car. And that's why there's. Just feelings. There's. They have to read that there's. Or there's. I don't think so. Myself, we will, thank you for your indulgence as two of our trustees checked on their vehicles. There's a red blinking light out there. Apparently there was some accident involving moving vehicles, not parked vehicles. All right, we are now on to item number 7, public comment, 3-minute time limit per person. And if I could have a list of those individuals, thank you so much. We will begin with Shari Sanders.
Hello, I am Sherry Sanders, and today I wanted to say that everything is possible at the library. I was just about born and raised at this library. I learned to read books about dogs, cats, spaceships, and every kind of hero slaying every kind of dragon, for example. I went from this library to the library at UNR where I finished my BA. That led me to more libraries where I finished my MA and my PhD. At these libraries, I was still slaying dragons. I was learning about problems that seem to have no solutions. Why can't people find fulfilling jobs that pay enough? Why do we have to choose between having a career or having a family? Why do I have to choose between putting food on my table and helping my neighbor put food on theirs? My final dragon I found at law school. We do know how to solve all these problems. We have. It's just so expensive to learn how. In my case, $300,000 in student loans, that it is just about as hard as getting to the moon. But not here. At the library, at this library, I can reserve a free room and hold free law workshops. And I just did reserve a room. Here, I can show anyone what our First Amendment rights really are and how to advocate for them. Because it is the library, this educational meeting must and will be open to all. It must be free of charge, and it will be. December 21st from 2 to 4, I will offer a free First Amendment workshop. It's on a Sunday after most worship services are over. So today I wanted to say thank you to the library, the Board of Trustees, and to Mr. Solero for making everything possible by keeping these doors open. Since I have, more time, if there could be more books about dragons, that'd be super cool.
No,
Thank
to
you.
Debbie Steers, more books about dragons. Thank you. Janet Butcher.
Janet Butcher, for the record, I have to correct myself. No, it wasn't a total of, when I read general business A and B, I added the two together because that's the way it looked like to me. So I guess the cash donations minus what Judith Bark, it was $7,298.40. So that was confusing. And then I thought the procurement information or the materials expenditure was for the budget for next year, not this year. So anyway, I always like to correct myself, like I owe Mr. Solaris an apology for mistaking something I said yesterday. So thank you.
Thank you. Tara DeQuiros?
I just wanted to make a quick comment on the previous action item. And I was going to read from page 3 of the report on the collections budget. Under observations, it says, for FY 25-26, the percent allocated to collections decreased to 4.51%, the lowest level in the period shown. So that's referring to that table that's on page 3 of that staff report, and it goes back to 2014. So the collections budget is at the lowest point since 2014. It says this reduction is primarily the result of the library board's May 7th, 2025 action to temporarily hold 1.3 million of the library budget in abeyance. So that's the 1.3 million that was offered by the county, but is just currently being held and waiting for the library board to request it. The next paragraph says, because these abaid funds are being held centrally and may be released incrementally over the course of the fiscal year, the materials funding level represented in the current analysis reflects only the amount available at the start of FY 25-26. If the board elects to release some or all of the abaid funds later in the year, the materials budget and associated percentages will change accordingly. So the materials budget is currently at a very low point, but if that 1.3 million were requested by the library board, it could increase substantially. So that would change a lot of things as far as the library, as far as the materials budget goes for this current fiscal year. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else for our second public comment period who may not have signed in or had an opportunity? All right, hearing none, we'll move on to item number 8, staff announcements. This is a non-action item. Are there any staff announcements? Mr. Solero.
I'm going to play staff tonight. Good evening. For the record, Dave Solero, Assistant County Manager. Just wanted to cover a couple of things that have come up during the meeting and then go into some other announcements that I had prepared. So the bylaw document, Trustee Jacks, thank you very much for that. This is an item that I had missed that needed the chair's signature. So I've received the chair's signature this evening. That document has been provided to our wonderful staff, and they will get that up on the website. And as you'll recall, that was action that you all took in July, actually, of this calendar year. The location of the meetings, yes, you are correct. They are set by this board in advance. There were a couple of meetings while we were going through the budget that the chair had requested that they be held here. We do have the balance of the meetings, one more this year scheduled. It's on the website as far as location. I don't know if we've actually, I'd have to take a look and see if we've done anything for fiscal year 26, but if not, we will take care of that so that we can make sure that the community knows where we're having our meetings. Supporting documents, Deputy DA Kaplan and I have discussed that, and I'll discuss a few things with staff on trying to make sure we get that information to you. The minutes were done early. We were just trying to package everything together. So you had all documents at once, but we'll work through that. So I appreciate that feedback and comment. A couple of other things, I think it's been clarified a little bit, but the book budget discussion that we had as part of the fiscal year 27 budget for 10%, that's going to be an above base request from the Board of County Commissioners. The difference between what's currently in the fiscal year 26 budget and the difference to get to 10% for next year. So I have that on my documentation. I've already started the discussion with staff to make sure that we get that in at the appropriate time for the upcoming fiscal year budget. And in
If I can just
yes.
ask you 1 minute. I'm confused. The timing on that request?
So the budgeting process for Washoe County for all departments is starting right now, basically. But the request will probably go into the board to the budget process in January or February of 26.
To the commissioners.
To the commissioners,
Okay.
correct, for their review. Yes. And then there was a question regarding the funds and what does that look like in fiscal year 27? There will be one library fund and it will be generally funded. So I just want to make sure that's there for you all. To roll into my regular comments, the commission really does want to give you their kudos and support for the hard work that we've all gone through over the years to do the work. I had the pleasure of presenting your recommendation to the board yesterday. Lots of good comments and discussion related to that. So they were very thankful for the work that you've all put in to this, as well as I would like to thank the staff who provided valuable insights as we went through this whole entire process. One cautionary note that came out of the meeting yesterday with the board is they did not take action on the budget. They did not approve it. They basically acknowledged your recommendation, and it was very specific because they don't know necessarily what they're going to ask of all departments. I joked that we would be happy to accept a 10% increase like they're going to give to all departments. I don't think that went over as jokingly as I thought it was going to. Maybe it was the wrong time, but certainly I wanted to portray to you that depending on what the financial outlook of the Washoe County Board of County Commissioners are and the policies that they make related to budgeting, it's going to apply to all departments. Library is no different, even though we've provided a recommendation to them on what the library might be. So I want to make sure it was clear for you all, and I think you all understood that going into this. I want to make it clear for the public as well that we are at the budgeting policies of the Board of County Commissioners. Some of those have yet to be determined for this upcoming fiscal year.
So if I can just clarify,
Yep.
they acknowledged it, they did not approve it. It is contingent upon what they approve relative to every department budget.
That is
So could we be facing something that we're not looking forward to?
yes, we don't know yet, right? So we're still getting information from the state on sales tax and all those other sorts of things. They just wanted a cautionary note that to your point, I think during our last budgeting process, the library system is not being held at a different standard than all of the rest of the departments. So, okay.
I have one more question.
Sure.
I'm sorry. What time frame do they have to approve versus acknowledge? I mean, when are all the other departments, when is this process concluded to give some closure on this budget?
Yes, so they need to provide, we need to provide a tentative budget to the state in April of 2026. And then the final budget is approved in June, I believe, of 2026. So, but we are in good standing. The board has acknowledged the hard work that you've done as far as, taking seriously the request for them during the last budgeting process. And so they fully understood and they were all supportive of the work that we provided to them. So,
Thank you.
okay. We are also currently actively recruiting for the open positions within the systems and making good progress there. However, the recruitment process does take some time. But we are anticipating a few additional closures through the end of the year or through the end of January, I will say. So I wanted to make sure that you all have that information before we provide that out to the public. So right now, we would like to continue the Saturday closures of Incline Village. It's very difficult until we can get the proper staff hired up there. And then in December, Friday, December 12th, the downtown library branch. Friday, December 26th, the senior center branch. And then in January on the 4th, which is a Sunday, and the 18th, which is a Sunday, will be Sparks Library. And then the 9th and the 16th for the downtown Reno Library. And we'll make sure that this information is provided to the public. But that again, this is so we can shift staff around to make sure we've got full staffing or the minimum staffing necessary to keep all the branches open during that time.
Just a quick question.
Sure.
It would occur to me that Saturday might be the busiest of all days at the Incline Village Library for families, and yet that's the day that has been selected to be closed. Is that due to the preference of staff relative to what days they work, or we just simply don't have any coverage?
So we had a 6-day week up in Incline, and this is working with staff to identify those days that have the least amount of impact to the community. You'll also remember that we do have a library vending machine in Incline Village as well, for families to be able to do that. We are also going into the wintertime. You know, I think that does kind of change some of the dynamics as well.
Okay.
Okay.
And the 12th for the downtown library? What's the reason?
Friday, the 12th of December. Yes.
That is a result of?
Just of trying to keep minimum staffing throughout the system, being able to fill that. As you'll recall, this is actually a pared down you know, list from what we currently are going through right now. And I think part of that is because we're, you know, doing some things to try to make sure we keep the branches fully open.
Okay. And
Okay.
recruitment is underway for all the open
Yep.
positions.
Recruitment is underway for those positions, correct. And then just one last thing, I do anticipate that I would like to bring something forward probably in January for a discussion of implementing the proposed staff solution that occurred through the budgeting process for fiscal year 27. As you'll recall, you all approved with that action on October 15th. A preferred option for staffing and hours of operation. There have been a few adjustments that the library staff would have brought forward to me to propose to you, but I do anticipate doing that probably in January. So I just wanted to give you that kind of heads up that in January, I'd like to have a fairly good discussion to set the library hours and operations and things, even in this current fiscal year, based on what you did for next fiscal year. And I know fiscal years they confuse me. Yeah.
We're going backwards. And so we have acknowledgement of the following fiscal year,
Yes.
not yet final approval. And you have some comments to make about staffing and operations for the current fiscal year.
That would then transition into the next. Correct.
Okay.
Yep. And I think those were all my staff comments tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Solon.
Thank
Are there other comments from the board? Thank you. That concludes our board meeting for this evening. Consider this meeting hereby adjourned. Thank you to everyone. Best wishes for a happy holiday Thanksgiving, and we should see you before Christmas.